Welcome to High Heels and Hay Bales, where polished meets practical, legal meets lifestyle, and debt meets dirt.
I am Kristen, your resident farm mama, keeping it real about motherhood, homesteading, and laughing our way through the chaos.
And I'm Adrienne, aka the Ladylike Lawyer. I'm here to help you make sense of money, debt, legal life, without the boring fight print.
So kick off your shoes or boots or heels and let's get into it. Welcome back to High Heels and Hay Bales. It is week 6 of our second season. How are you, Adrienne?
I'm doing pretty good, Kristen. It feels good to be home, actually.
You've been on the road for a while.
I have been on the road for a while. I've been doing a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
I've been talking to a lot of people, so I feel like I'm losing my voice a little bit.
You almost sound like you're losing your voice.
Yeah, I have been talking a lot. Yeah, I went to Dallas, Texas, from Sunday to Wednesday, and I was there for the National Association of Consumer Bankruptcy Attorneys, which sounds really, really boring, Kristen, but I'm telling you, my homies know how to party. My homies know how to party.
I'm jealous because I know that you like to party hardy. And
I do, but not late. Like I like to party hardy between like 3 in the afternoon and 7 p.m. And then I'm pretty much in bed. And I think a lot of people that I was interacting with this last trip and these last trips really got to see that I pretty much shut down the evening time.
We'll have to discuss that one time, especially your karaoke story. But yeah. So
Yeah,
then
and
you went.
then I had to fly to Boston. So then I had to fly into Boston Logan. The government is still shut down. And I was worried that I'd get stuck, but I have to give it to all of the TSA people. They're not getting paid, but yet they are showing up. I don't know how they're doing it. God bless them. Thank you
Right.
for getting me through there so that I could go to my conferences. But I don't know how long this is sustainable. So
Yeah. Well,
I'm just glad to be home and glad that I don't have to navigate any other airports because I think they're just going to get worse.
yeah. I put off a trip with my kids to Florida for that reason.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from money, but whatever, the airport situation was my big one. So, all right. Enough of that. Let's talk about Ponzi schemes. That's what we're talking about this week because everybody kind of knows what a Ponzi scheme is. And I never do research for our podcast episodes. And last night I was sitting here and I'm like, I want to know some things.
I love it.
So Ponzi schemes are basically
Well, what came to your mind before you did the research? Like
Bernie
what?
Madoff.
Yeah, Bernie Madoff, rich people,
Swindling
losing
other
rich people money, right?
Exactly. Like you don't hear of farmers usually handling Ponzi schemes because
Yeah,
we're too busy.
you think of Wall Street dudes like crying in their Teslas or something, right?
Exactly. And it's not like Ponzi schemes are probably as old as time, honestly.
Yeah.
They're named after a guy named Charles Ponzi, who was an Italian guy, came over to the US, and this happened in the 20s. Okay. He basically was a swindler. His whole career was stealing money from people one way or another. And that is where Ponzi schemes got their name because he was like the first famous guy. But there was a guy he actually learned from in 1899 named William Miller, who had a similar thing that Charles Ponzi did. And in 1899, he took in over $1 million, which now is over to almost $32 million.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I could use
That's,
it.
that's a lot. Yeah, I think it's true that these they've been around forever. And they really aren't just for the ultra rich. I think initially when you think of a Bernie Madoff, you think, well, that would never touch my life, right? But regular people get pulled into Ponzi schemes all the time, and they really don't realize that that's what they're in. And I think that's why we decided to do this because, I think we can all say, well, I would never fall for a Bernie Madoff, but
Right.
I don't know if I would or not. But a lot of people did fall for Ponzi schemes,
Oh, yeah.
and we're going to talk about them today, right?
Well, think about this. I was thinking also about our episode about Jen Shaw. that's pretty much a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, a lot of them end up looking a lot like that, right? A lot of times we don't, people who are pushing them aren't going to call them Ponzi schemes. A lot of them
Right.
are called be your own boss or financial freedom or, hey, I've got a financial opportunity for you. That's what these look like. They look
Right.
like um, opportunities. And who
Mhm.
doesn't want an opportunity, right? Like
Right.
who doesn't want opportunity in life?
Right. It's all that hope that it's gonna pay off. This time is gonna pay off. Like, also the movie Wolf of Wall Street, that comes to mind because that was kind of the same
Mhm.
ish, but I
Mhm.
mean, it's all based on, okay, I'm, this guy, I know all these things. Give me your money. I'm gonna make a whole lot for you. And then but you're not gonna know that I spent it all. And then I'm gonna get other people to pay back the money you invested. And
Yeah.
that's essentially what a Ponzi scheme is.
Well, let's figure out how let's go through and figure out how to tell if your side hustle is a scam with better branding or what. A Ponzi scheme is by definition when early investors get paid from money that's coming in from new investors,
Mhm.
not new profits. Okay, you're recycling the cash.
Right.
That's technically what a Ponzi scheme is. So, um, and we have to make sure, and we're going to get to this because it's very confusing because a Ponzi scheme is very similar to an MLM, right?
Mhm.
And multi-level marketing. That's going to be your Tupperwares, right? That's going to be, the what was the candle? All the candles. Remember the candle people that came into my
Yes.
friend when your friend would throw a party and it's in their house and
Mm.
was
Oh,
pampered chef,
yeah, the ones that come to my mind are the MLM wise, Herbalife, any of
Herbalife.
those type of things,
Hmm.
LuLaRoe.
Well,
We talked about that a lot.
LuLaRoe ended up actually being a Ponzi scheme, and that's really the point here. LuLaRoe
Mhm.
morphed into being a Ponzi scheme, but it started off as an MLM, and that's why they look very similar. And that's, I
Right.
think, what we're here to talk about, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like robbing Peter to pay Paul, and
Mhm.
then robbing Mary to pay Peter. Okay, and
Exactly.
you keep taking from someone to give to make someone else whole, but you're never exchanging a product, right?
Right.
Let me give you an example of a Ponzi scheme. Have you ever seen those things where, like, around the holidays, hey, if you send 6 people a bottle of wine, that's
Yes.
a pyramid. Okay, so the person who starts at the top will always get wine flowing up to them. But the people in the bottom get nothing unless they bring another person in. So
Right.
they only get that is that's a Ponzi scheme because you're not bringing product, right?
Right.
So everybody gets mad at me around the holidays when I get these. They used to get mad at me when I get the Facebook chain things. Hey, let's join this, and I'd be like, "This is a Ponzi scheme." I didn't know. I mean, it was kind of annoying.
It those do get really annoying. I always hated those.
I think I was annoying. I mean, I think I was like, "This is a Ponzi scheme," and people are like, "What? I don't even know what you're talking about. I just want wine."
Yeah, and here's the thing, it's not always like, it's they're not always, again, about a product. Sometimes it's literally only money, which kind of is the product. But one that I didn't really realize was a Ponzi scheme. I don't think I remember it too much. Lou Pearlman was the guy that was like the man that brought forth boy bands. So NSYNC, Backstreet
Mhm.
Boys, and he swindled these guys out of all their money and ended up having his legacy being a Ponzi scheme because he would swindle investors and banks, and it was more than $300 million. And I think he's in prison now. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, he died. But he went to prison because of conspiracy and money laundering charges. Like these are huge things. If you get busted, you're a goner, man.
I can tell you that Ponzi schemes show, premeditation. They
Hmm.
show, a plan. And anytime you have premeditation or plan or design to swindle people, as opposed to looking like you're kind of accidentally swindling them along the way,
Hmm.
it is definitely going to be definitely a bigger deal.
Yeah.
But it's just important to understand that I still think people out there are like, I still don't get the difference between them. A pyramid scheme is illegal when the entire goal is to recruit people. Okay. When recruiting is the business model, the recruitment is the business, not the selling the stuff or not, right?
Right.
So if we're talking about like Pampered Chef is an MLM. It is not a Ponzi scheme because maybe I'm a Pampered Chef representative, right? And I want to have a party in your house because I want to get you involved. So I'm recruiting you, but for the purpose of selling product that's gonna go back, right?
Right.
It's gonna start to help us all. We're all gonna start to make profits.
Right.
So there's
Because
a
you,
product involved,
mhm, yeah,
right?
because you would make more of a profit, a percentage than I would, but then I bring something and my percentage goes up. So you're everybody's making money. There is product. It does have to happen that way in order
And
to make the
so
money.
LuLaRoe ended up morphing into a Ponzi scheme. In the very beginning, their goal was to sell product, right? But as the process went on, they were making money by recruiting the people, and the people had to pay, right? People had to
Lots
pay
of
to come
money.
in, and that is where that's where it all shifted because then their product ended up becoming like junk and not really anything, and the entire business model of LuLaRoe was contingent upon bringing humans in who would pay for the pleasure of selling, and that's when
Exactly.
it turned into a Ponzi scheme. Now that's a different type of Ponzi scheme than like Bernie Madoff, right? But you see
Right.
the same concept. The whole purpose is you're not he's not buying the stocks and investing in them, right? He's recruiting people and he needs to recruit the humans to pay the money to pay up the pyramid. And it's
Right.
not the product that's going down.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do
Exactly.
you think people understand that?
I think so. I mean, it really is a fine line, but with like LuLaRoe is just like we talked about this yesterday, so it's in my head. There was a point where you could see it shift. And I mean, there's a documentary about it. They talk about all of it and everything. But it really exactly how you said, their product turned to crap. They didn't care. They just wanted more and more people because your investment with LuLaRoe was a minimum $5,000. And the people that recruited you, I think they got a bonus or something, but nothing after that. It was all just to pay up the pyramid. And that's why, I mean, it's just I think that's why people aren't sure if it's MLM or Ponzi's and they just lump them all together because it is so confusing.
Well, it is, and the difference is the product, and MLMs technically have product, but like we saw with LuLaRoe, they also they profit off of recruiting. And
Right.
so, the question becomes are you recruiting for profit up the pyramid or are you recruiting to sell product down the pyramid? And
Right.
um yeah, a lot of these MLMs are very, very dangerous and walk a very fine line. I think that you can technically have a product like LuLaRoe did at the end, and then it's not really a thing anymore. But
Right.
it's incredibly dangerous because I think the reason why it's so dangerous is because first off, we think that these just exist everywhere, right? Like
Right.
we just think this is the way business is done. And we're not really being taught that this is kind of a sleazy way to do business and
Right.
questionable in many, many respects. But oftentimes you get sucked in these because, these are the types of thing that offer you quick money or work from home, right? These are the types of engagements that tend to be scammy because
Right.
they're really preying on desperate people, people
Right.
at home with kids and yeah.
And it's not always, I mean, like you just said, people at home with kids is not always super, ultra rich people, but that's kind of why it's so famous because it is the ultra rich and the ones that make a lot of money that make the headlines. I
Mm.
mean, if you were running a Ponzi scheme and one of the things is, yes, you recruit me and then you're still asking me for money. Hey, I've got another business event, another
Mhm.
business venture. I've got this, I've got that. And you just sink your money into this, knowing that you're going to get a huge return. And then when you go to cash out and there's no money, that's when they get caught
Right. Right. Well,
because
they get
those people are like, whoa, where's my money? And then it all starts to unravel.
Yeah, I've always joked with my husband every time we watch a documentary about a Ponzi scheme, and believe me, my husband and I love American Greed. Big fans, big fans. We watch them all. Every time I watch them, I think to myself, what was the end game here? Like, where
Right.
did they think this was going to go? At what point did they say, you know what? I mean, I get that $1 million back, and I'll just I don't know how you decide that. I don't know where you think you're going at the very beginning when you first do that. Um, it's just mind-boggling.
It
And
really is.
it was interesting about Bernie Madoff is he did it completely alone.
Yeah.
Dude's kids didn't know, and I believe that. I believe his kids didn't know. One of his children ended up committing suicide.
No kidding.
Oh yeah, it was very, very sad. It was just terrible. And honestly, I think some people accidentally stumble into Ponzi schemes too. I
Mhm.
actually watched the Bernie Madoff documentary, and I kind of at times felt a little sorry for him because I really honestly think he was trying to help people and kind of screwed up a
Yeah.
little bit. I think he was trying to help people and he kind of screwed it up just a little bit. And then he wasn't ever really to get back on track. But let me tell you something. Dude was faking, he started faking so much shit. He had an entire floor of a building in his office building that was just generating fake stuff. It was amazing the level at which he had to get to.
And
But
they don't even know actually when Bernie Madoff started because I just read something that they're saying they think it may have gone back all the way to the 60s.
yeah,
And this didn't come to light until what, early 2000s?
yeah, the documentary I saw suggested that this had started early and that he
Right.
actually had 2 businesses. He had a very profitable, successful business, but he was also doing stuff for, like, his father-in-law's friends. Like, he had this private group of people, and there was a lot of involvement with, like, his father-in-law, and he was trying to impress his father-in-law, and he just
Mhm.
got out of control, and then he couldn't stop it, but
I think that's where a lot of this happens is people are like, "Okay, quick cash, quick turnaround," and then it just snowballs.
yeah.
Like, I mean, like your debt. You're like, "Oh, I'll pay that credit card off in a couple weeks when I have extra cash." But it just snowballs and
Yeah,
gets out of control, and I can't imagine running 40 years of a scam. Like, I don't know, how do you keep things straight? How do you not screw this up? Like, I
there's
can't
no
even,
way.
like no, I can't even remember I can't even keep my refrigerator contents figured out in my head. How do you run a Ponzi scheme, man? Like, it takes it takes something special to make that happen. I don't know. But it's fascinating, but it's all based on greed. It really is. It's just all about greed.
At the end of the day, it is about greed, but, there's it's about greed on the part of the Ponzi schemer.
But
It
also the investors, because 'cause they're like, "Quick cash,"
Yeah, yeah,
big money returns. Because that's the other thing is it's not, "If you give
yeah,
me
if you're getting
$100, I'll give you 120." It's, "You give me $500,000, I'm gonna give you 2,000,000."
exactly. What it anytime, something sounds too good to be true, I mean, that's, your first inkling, right? And you watch these documentaries or about these things, and it feels like you can see that it's coming, right? But
Right.
when you're living in it, you don't really see that it's coming. And,
Mhm.
as somebody who is an investor myself, right? Um, I know that, you know, getting 7% on your return is really, really good. Every once in a while, we'll have a year where we have a really great year, like lately, while the entire rest of the world burns. But you know where these numbers should be, right? And so if you're going to invest $20,000 and they say in a month you'll get 30,000 back, that is what we call high risk.
Right.
There's nothing safe about that. You could be buying pigs and hoping that your friend raises them and sells them, right? Like it could be anything. This is an investment that is outside of a normal securities investment. So, but Bernie Madoff was definitely making people think that if you invested, you know, $200,000, you'd get $300,000. And the numbers were so outrageous that it's completely obvious on the outside looking in. But if I was at a party and someone said, "Hey, and he's the head of the SEC." I mean, Bernie Madoff went all the way to the top. He was in
Right.
charge. He made the rules. And if I was at a party with him and he's like, "Hey, invest with me, 200,000, I'll get you 300." I'd be like, "Yeah."
Mhm.
I'd fall for it because I would think, "Oh my gosh, I'm in a place where I have the ability to rub shoulders with somebody like this, and, he's gonna help me." I there's a lot of people who would believe that, and I'm one of them who
Mhm.
would have I'd need my husband to be really skeptical.
Right.
So it's easy to fall for that stuff because you know what you're doing and you know that people take risks and make money, right? You
Right.
know that there's risky people out there. You know that there's ways to make money faster if you take some risk. And maybe you're willing to take a little risk with this person, but they never really disclose to you what's going on. And it's
Mhm.
not risk when they're stealing it from you.
Exactly. Well, and it doesn't have to be as like a person, it doesn't have to be a Bernie Madoff or whoever. I mean, when there's new things that come onto the scene, like cryptocurrency, that can also be taken. See, I did my research.
I'm super
Um,
impressed.
this was one that happened in 2014. It was called OneCoin cryptocurrency. It became a Ponzi scheme, and it was in Bulgaria. And basically, you purchase access to educational materials focusing on financial management. And there's the draw right there, because someone like me would be like, "Oh, they're going to teach me, and I'm going to get a return on this."
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it was just fraud. And financial authorities exposed it as a massive Ponzi scheme. And they ended up, I believe it cost, what is it? It was $25 billion. But
But that's like
the person,
crypto dollars, right?
no, 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 no,
Oh, these are
25
real
billion US,
dollars.
real dollars.
Oh.
And the person that started it, she disappeared with about $4 billion, and she has not been found. And then it's estimated to have cost $25 billion that all of them lost. And so that's super dangerous because you can't reverse cryptocurrency
Mm,
purchases.
yeah, yep.
So like it's wild what people can do and get away with. I mean, could you imagine disappearing with $4 billion?
I don't even know what that would look like.
I don't either.
I
I
think
don't
you
even know
have to
what a
get, like
$1 million
I
look
think you
like.
have to get, like, facial surgery and change your fingerprints and all I mean, like, see where my
R-
mind goes? Like, I'm already thinking,
Right.
"Ah, we're gonna make escape here."
Right. I mean, you go to like one of the countries that nobody knows exists. You go there, or maybe you go to a really populated place and just blend in.
I
I
mean,
don't
with the
know,
fa
but
I know I just did this, but going to the facial recognition stuff, I mean, you're gonna have to have plastic surgery by some, underground plastic
mhm,
surgeon, right? So you're gonna
mhm,
have to pay cash, and you're gonna have to trust a bunch of people because 'cause they're gonna put you under. right? I mean,
Mhm.
it's a lot. It's a lot to run away with
It
$4 billion. I'm not
really
sure I
is.
would appreciate the responsibility. I might be like,
No.
I'm good, guys. I'm good. Just give me like
Just
20 bucks and leave me here.
right. I'll take the 3 hots and a cot. It's totally fine. I'm done.
I'm cool.
I've
I'm cool.
lived my life.
I don't have the energy to hide like that.
That's why we don't have Ponzi schemes. That
That's
is
that's
why
why we
you and
aren't
I
Ponzi
don't.
schemers. We're too lazy. We're too lazy to come up with it. You got I mean, you think about it, it does take a lot of creativity. And
Mhm.
but here's what happened to LuLaRoe. Okay. This is actually pretty much what happened to LuLaRoe. There comes a point in time where you run out of new recruits, right?
Mhm.
They had saturated the market. Every single stay-at-home mom who could sell LuLaRoe was basically doing it, and there weren't
Right.
any there and now the pyramid gets so much bigger on the bottom, right? And now you
Mhm.
have 10,000 people trying to each recruit 10 people, and you run out of I mean, the pyramid eventually ends.
Mhm.
And that's how you know it's a that's how you know it's a Ponzi scheme. If you run out and the money stops, right?
Yep.
Because presumably if you're selling things, you're still selling candles, you're still selling leggings. And when the business is only dealing with the recruitment, that's when you see they hit you know, mass
Right.
saturation.
And I told you, specifically with LuLaRoe, again, that I was like, "I wanna do this. I wanna get in on this. I want this." And something stopped me. I mean, I had stay-at-home mom, and I had a friend doing it. She got really successful, made a shit ton of money, and then I had another friend, and then I'm like, "Well, shit, I'll just buy them from them." But then the quality started going down, and I was like, "You know what? Screw all this. I'm gonna learn how to sew my own leggings." And I created my own, probably personal Ponzi scheme. But, I that led to me opening 3 different businesses. But had I done that, I would have lost my ass.
Yeah. Yeah, because you gotta buy in.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And here's the other thing with LuLaRoe specifically, again, with that you gotta keep investing money. Your initial package is, let's say, $7,000. And then your inventory starts depleting and, oh, you have to and then they auto ship, and
yeah.
it's another five to $10,000, and if you want the new stuff, the good stuff, it's $15,000. So every month, you're dropping just buckets of cash,
Mhm.
and then when that money doesn't come back, because everybody's like, "No, I got it over here." Do you know how many yard sales I see where people have racks of LuLaRoe for $5 a
Exactly.
piece?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
it's mind blowing. So we've talked about what the Ponzi schemes are, examples and everything, but here's where uh, how to identify. The US Securities and Exchange Commissions created like a list of red flags basically to figure out if this is a Ponzi scheme or a different type of fraud. The first one was the promise of little to no return or promise of big returns with little to no risk. That's like the biggest one. But again, same with an MLM,
Exactly.
realistically.
Hmm.
And then the second one is they deliver inconsistent returns. So they said, invest 100,000, I'll give you 150, but they're like, we only have 75 for you right now.
Mhm.
If you give us another 50, we'll get you another 150,
Mhm.
and that just keeps going.
Yep.
If the business is unregistered or unlicensed, which is an interesting thing because there's a lot of those out there.
Yeah, there are.
So that one's interesting. Um, if they're very secretive about their entire model or it's really super complex as far as their investment strategies, that's another sign for it being a Ponzi scheme, which I never
Good
would have
to
thought of.
know. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm teaching you things
I
today.
love it. I love it.
Um, the next one is if they restrict access to any paperwork, including errors, won't fix them, won't tell you what went wrong. They just, nope, you can't see anything. You should be able to see
Forfeit.
everything. Right.
Forfeit.
Exactly. Because
They want you to they want you to fail so that yeah.
exactly. Because like when you're investing in things, You can see everything that you've invested. You can see all the numbers.
Right. Right.
But if you couldn't,
Yeah.
you're in a Ponzi scheme.
You should have a portal. You should be able to go and look.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the last thing that they say is they make it they make receiving or divesting the money difficult, like
Yeah.
almost impossible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're ever wondering if you're about to invest in a Ponzi scheme, go back through that list and check it all out. Because I think it's beneficial to have those rules in place or those warning flags in place,
I
and
think it's
hopefully it helps somebody.
It's really important to have the flags in place because on the other side, the way that people are getting recruited and getting convinced to come into a Ponzi scheme or a dangerous MLM is by the use of emotional marketing. You know,
Yes.
they use the, empowerment and sisterhood and community. It makes you feel like that was definitely a LuLaRoe tactic that they took.
Oh, yeah.
People were feeling really connected and like we're in a club and, that kind of thing. And oh, we can take care of our families while still working from home, making everything perfect. And that's really how they sold it to lot mostly women,
Yep.
in middle America whose families are, trying to supplement their household income a little bit while also still being really involved with their kids. Who doesn't want to do that? Who doesn't
Exactly.
want to do that? Who doesn't want to
Mhm.
spend their time with their kids, help bring money into the house and be able to make, gobs of money by being at home with your kids? Who doesn't want to do that?
Right. Exactly. I do.
I do too, and if I didn't know the signs and the red flags for an MLM for an MLM that's moving into a Ponzi kind of scheme, I would fall for that stuff,
Oh,
and I've
yeah.
seen
I
people fall
mean,
for it. My sweet,
yeah.
sweet, sweet, my paralegal Susie Q. If you're listening, sorry, I'm telling everybody that you almost fell for LuLaRoe, but she didn't fall for LuLaRoe. So I was very proud of her, but boy, we talked about this for a long time, and she had a lot of friends just like you who ended up really screwed. I filed bankruptcy for a lot of people who were LuLaRoe people.
Really? I
Oh
mean, that doesn't
yeah,
surprise me.
oh
That doesn't
yeah,
surprise me.
oh yeah.
Not at all.
I can assure you the leftover inventory was not worth very much in bankruptcy
No.
liquidation. Trustees didn't
No.
even really want it.
I don't blame them at all. I actually found a pair of those leggings that were, like, highly coveted in my closet the other day, and I donated them. I was like, "Ah, no, I'm good."
Oh, you know what are also kind of um borderline on the Ponzi schemes?
What? Don't tell me it's something I do.
Influencers and coaching stuff, you know? Oh,
Oh,
I see
yes.
you. Mhm. I
No,
see you.
you're not wrong about that because this is that's 100% because especially, like, TikTok,
Mm,
I noticed this because I mean, my life is TikTok.
mm.
There are people that will say, "I made X amount of dollars this month as a TikTok Shop affiliate. I wrote a manual, a free whatever. You download that, check it out. And if it helps you, then I have this whole huge workbook class thing I do,
Yeah.
and you can join and I'll help you make more money." And it's all about the recruitment. There's literally nothing. But I mean, that is a huge market and TikTok actually like created some guidelines that said you can't do that anymore.
There's a lot of people out there committing fraud. There's a lot. As long as there will be humans with brains and desires, there will always be people who will try to use the system, in their favor. And I think it's important that we recognize that, it's not just the Bernie Madoffs that are doing this. Like I said, a holiday time when you get that email about, hey, you send me, bottles and then you bring people in. That's a Ponzi scheme. The person who
Mhm.
starts it gets all the wine and they can only get wine if they're recruiting people who are bringing wine. They're not right. So for our followers, listen, here's how it goes. If you are in these programs, if you're doing work from home, if you're selling something, if you're doing something, you need to stop and ask yourself, are you getting paid to bring another human that has money into the group? Or are you getting paid to sell the like, are you making a profit off the candles? Or are you making a profit off of bringing more humans in? If
Mhm.
the profits from bringing more humans in, congratulations, you're in a Ponzi scheme. And unless you're towards the top, you're probably going to get screwed. If you're at the top, you're probably going to go to jail at some point in time. So it's not a good situation to be in. But you got to be able to figure this stuff out because even going into this, I think you and I were still trying to parcel out the differences between these two.
Right.
And I'm a lawyer for God's sakes. I should know the difference between these two. I had to research it too.
Well, even
Um,
even going through all this research, I'm still like, "What the fuck's the
yeah.
how do I like" now I
Hmm.
think everything's a Ponzi scheme.
A lot of things are. And I think there's a very thin line between Ponzi and not Ponzi. And I think that's what was unique about the LuLaRoe documentary is you see that it begins really as selling a product, a really cool product. Those things were so soft. I mean, they
Oh, they
were.
were.
They were the first ones to make those super soft things. Although you can get
But
them at like odd lots now.
but let me tell you a story. You can buy that fabric for like $4 a yard, and it takes 1 yard to make 1 pair of leggings, and, they're better quality.
Mm. I don't doubt that at all. But at the time, I did not know that. And they were very, very soft.
They were. That stuff but then you buy that stuff and you realize that it doesn't breathe and you sweat your ass off and it's awful, but, I mean, half of my
Yeah.
wardrobe was that fabric at one point. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely knowing where your money is actually coming from can save you from prison.
Yeah. The phrase boss babe, if anyone's using that with you and trying to get you to join their club, you should change that to buyer beware. You might be getting recruited into a Ponzi scheme.
Mhm, mhm. So, why do we keep falling for it? Why does everybody keep falling for these things and making other people rich and losing their asses?
Well, because we're desperate. The world is crazy and confusing,
Mhm,
and prices with everything are going up, and wages aren't going up. So we look around and we see that we still have the same job we've had, but it's not taking care of everything that we need or we think we need, and so we are looking for side hustles. We are in the era of side hustles, right?
mhm.
The
Yep,
Ubers, the Instacart, it's a standard. I before COVID, I never asked these questions, right, in my bankruptcy practice. Now I have to go through all types of, give examples of all different things. I have to talk about MLMs too. And I think so it is the more, fragile our economy becomes, the more risk people are willing to take,
mhm,
and I think things are gonna get worse, and that's why I wanted to do something on Ponzi schemes and fraud just to make sure people are aware that this is happening right out in front of us. And
right,
we do have to take some protections, especially right now, because there's just seems to be a lot of different ways and a lot of people coming at us with solutions that seem sketchy. Right.
exactly.
And it's worrying me because I see a lot more people falling for things and you will see people risk things they can't really afford to risk, in
Yeah,
these, and I'm worried.
that's exactly what it is. I mean, people, especially, people like me that are lower income, I am like, "Holy shit, what am I gonna do?" They're promising this return or, I could make an extra few $100s. I mean, my entire life is a side hustle, right? I mean, when we did my bankruptcy, that was a friggin' nightmare because literally everything was side hustle. And I know how desperate you can get. I mean,
Yeah,
my God, I I've done a lot of stupid things,
right.
but with the desperation that's going on now and everything just getting worse, it really people this is when those people make the most money.
Yeah,
They just feed off of that desperation and the hope that You're not screwing them over, and they are gonna be able to be okay in the end when, unfortunately, you're not.
Kristen, the deep truth here is that people fall for Ponzi schemes for the same reason that they play the lottery or they
Yep.
chase viral fame. They want a transformation, right?
Mhm.
And a transformation is what people are looking for. It's not necessarily greed. It's longing. It's wanting to be seen. It's wanting to be heard. It's wanting to be, you know,
Yep.
the star of your own movie, right?
Exactly.
Everybody
Mhm.
wants that.
Right.
And so in this world today, scammers, they know that. They don't sell the products necessarily, they're selling the illusion of control.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe the real get rich quick is just learning how to be content with where you're at.
that would be great if we didn't live in a capitalistic society where everything is more and more and more. I mean,
Yeah.
I won't lie, I'm already thinking about Christmas. It's middle of October, and I'm like, "Okay, how can I make more money so I can make sure I have what my kids need and want?" And then also, I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm also in the middle of divorce and, oh, yeah, that's new since last week. And, I've gotta figure everything else out, and where can I get extra money?" Now, all I'm doing is just busting my ass even more and doing more what I already do. But if somebody came to me and was like, "Hey, I can get you a quick $1,000 right now if you join me in this," I don't know if I would say no.
Would you
I
say
mean, I
no
do
if they
now.
told you you had to pay $500 to join them?
Well, I mean, I don't have
Yeah.
$500, so yeah, I'd say no. But there are
Uh,
people that would find that $500
yeah, that's what I'm
and do it.
saying. Or
And
they'd
so,
sell something, they'd liquidate something and they take from what they really need in order to do that because of a dream.
mhm,
Because of a
mhm,
dream.
exactly.
Well, I think I think if someone calls you a boss babe, before explaining the compensation plan, right? Grab your purse and run.
Yeah,
That's my thought.
I think absolutely correct. And, leggings won't make you, leggings are not gonna make you the boss babe. I'm sorry, honey. Like, no, find something else.
Yeah. Okay, so I know we're wrapping up our Ponzi scheme stuff here and we're getting so just so the audience knows, it is time to check in with Kristen to
I
see
thought we did this last week.
how we do this every week
We
because
do,
stuff
we
changes
do.
quickly with you. So we're checking in to see
But
how
there
is so a couple of week about a month ago, a month, 6 weeks ago, your
end
husband
of August.
end of August. Wow, it's been that long, really?
Yeah.
Okay. About 6, 8 weeks ago, your husband came home and said he wanted a separation, and you said, "Move into the basement, and we'll
Mhm,
figure it out." And so,
mhm.
where are we today?
Where are we today? Thursday, I filed paperwork for the dissolution where I went to him 2 weeks ago and said, I don't want to do this anymore. It's not, we're not going to, this isn't going to get fixed. And you say it's really fast. You said, "Oh, it's moved fast," and other people are like, "Holy shit, this is like lightning speed." My therapist this morning was like, "You do things really fast, so this nothing surprises me." And I'm like,
Yeah,
whatever."
yeah.
But it's there was a lot going into it, and I just decided that's not. I just there's a lot of history on all of this that I'm
Sure,
not
and
putting on
I'm
the
not.
internet.
We don't. No, no. I'm not.
No, no,
We're
no.
not asking for for your intimate details. I just think that I like people hearing that you and your husband had been struggling for several years, and
Mhm.
you guys filed bankruptcy last year, got rid of a bunch of debt, which makes this a little bit easier.
So much easier.
But you guys have been struggling, and even after filing bankruptcy, that didn't really fix your marriage. And
Right.
so you guys have been continuing to drift apart and apart and apart. And
Mhm.
so when he came home and said he wanted a separation but didn't have a plan, right? Like that's what I'm fascinated with. And I know that you're not the only person. I
Right.
know that you're not the only person. I know that you're not the only person who is not getting, needing to move on from their spouse, but doesn't have the financial wherewithal to move into a separate place. And I think
Right.
that what I'm hearing you say is that, in the very beginning you thought that this would be amicable and you guys could kind of work stuff out. And is it fair to say it's not as amicable at this point?
There are
Or
things so here's the thing, like, the reason I said I finally was like, I'm done. Um, I just realized that what I thought I was grieving was fear again. It was that fear jumping out saying, "You're not financially stable. You can't do this. You can't raise kids on your own. You can't keep your" like, it was all the no's in my head. And
You
through
weren't sad about the you weren't sad because you loved him. I mean,
I
you're
mean,
grieving the end of something. Fair?
but I think I had already grieved a lot of this, and
Got
that's
it.
why it's kind of like, it seems so fast to people that are like, "What the hell?" I have been in this grieving process for a long time, I think.
Yeah,
I think I
yeah,
finally figured that out, and I think that's why I finally was like, "You know what? I don't care. I'm gonna figure this out." I have an amazing support group. I have amazing people that I absolutely adore that are looking out for my best interest, and I know if I don't do this, I'm going to stay miserable for a very long time, and I don't want my kids to see that,
yeah.
and I just I made the decision for me and my kids, and there are people where this is impossible. This is an
Right.
impossible decision. It comes out of left field. You don't expect it coming. I knew this was coming. So my situation's a little different.
Yeah,
And as far as amicable, I mean, it is to a point. We still agree on all the things, but there's little things that are still there that are popping up. And I'm like, this living situation isn't going to work very much longer. And so I am flexible, probably too flexible. I'm, like, dodging and weaving every bullet, and good things are happening too, and I think
yeah.
that's what's making a difference for me,
Sure,
is
sure.
good things are coming constantly, which is fabulous, and I told you earlier, I am the happiest I've been in a very long time.
Speaking of which, Kristen,
Mhm.
how much weight have you lost?
Oh, yeah. So, as of yesterday, 32 pounds since September
I'm
1st.
starting to notice it in your videos. We don't live nearby each other, so we don't see each other in person regularly. I mean, this is usually how we see each other. But every time I'm watching your videos, I'll like do a screenshot and send it to you. I'll be like, your face looks so much thinner here, and
Well, even right now, like, watching, I'm like, "Holy shit, my face looks different." And
yeah,
I've had weight issues my entire life. So in 2020, I lost 140 pounds, and then
wow,
I got pregnant. Yeah, it was nuts. And I had a really hard time seeing the change, even
hmm
though I took pictures, like, every single day.
hmm
And I mean, that's part of body dysmorphia. It's
yeah,
a whole head
sure,
game. And even now, I've told you several times, like, I'm losing weight in places, but not where I want to lose it. And this morning, I walked out of my bedroom and I have a full length mirror right outside my bedroom door. And I turned around and I was like, oh,
who
where'd
dat?
that go? I
Who
was like,
dat?
what? Hey, okay.
Hey,
So, I for anybody that doesn't know this, I partnered with a company called Amble, and this my favorite. They offer GLP-1 medications, so that's what I'm doing, GLP-1 medications, and then they have other add-ons and things, and it's one of the most affordable GLP-1 programs, and they have doctors, and it's an amazing program and an amazing company, and they're just trying to make their customers like they are making their customers top priority. But they like, this has changed my life. Outside of
yeah.
everything else, this has changed my life
Well, I wanted
because I
and
feel
I
confident.
and I asked that because I can see the confidence, and you are going through this very, very difficult time, and I've been I've been your friend for a while now, and I've kind of seen you being very unhappy and hopeful and unhappy and hopeful. And I can say that, you know, you seem more confident, more self confident. You seem like you are better able to weather the storm, and you seem like you've got a lot more energy,
I
honestly.
do.
And
I do.
and I want everybody to know, we don't have any sponsors. Amble is not a sponsor. You
Nope.
can go through the link in our profile
Mhm.
and get Kristen is an affiliate for it, but, and I support Kristen, and I help Kristen out, and this is something that is really helping and working, so I invite you guys all to go there. But the GLP-1 lowers the food noise in your brain.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy. It's crazy. Like, I forget to eat 99% of the time. But anyway, yeah. So,
I
lots
think
of
that's helping
changing.
you. I think that's helping you, Kristen. You're losing weight, you have more energy, you have a better outlook, you, are self-confident, you're self-confident, and those things all help, and I think this
Yeah.
is all happening at a time in your life where it's really you're getting the extra bump from it because
Right.
it's feeding into the decisions that are helping you to kinda move forward. I love
Yeah.
that for you. You look
Yeah.
good, my friend,
It's
you're looking good. I
Thank
wanted to
you.
say that, and, I can tell that this is helping.
Look, I even put lipstick on today.
I
You know.
noticed. I
I
noticed
d-
that. I noticed that. I
I went
noticed. I also noticed all the shit behind
I
your chin
tried to
there too.
hide it. I
You
tried to
did
hide it.
not hide it very well, just for the record, but
Well,
I'm
listen,
st
I have to say I went to a party on Saturday night, a 30th wedding anniversary party, which I was afraid because I was afraid it was gonna be rough. It was not. It was a freaking blast. But I had people, like, that saw me before, haven't seen me in months, and they're like, "You're just you're just glowing. You're just." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" But, I mean, I was on the dance floor, and I never get on the dance floor, and I was singing and, dancing and just having a good time, and I never would have done that before. Like, I would have sat there mopey. And
Yeah.
so, I this for anybody going through anything similar to this, I have no advice except for you're not alone, and it does get better whether it takes 2 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years. There are so many people in the same situation, and never be afraid to reach out to somebody and find your village, because I didn't think I had that before, and I realized very quickly that I have a very, very amazing support system, with
I
you
love that for
included.
you.
So
I love that for you. Well, on that note, on Kristen's chipper outlook of the week. I like it. We're going to end this episode here. Just remember, if you are wondering whether or not it's a Ponzi scheme, you're probably in a Ponzi scheme.
exactly.
If you have to ask, you probably are.
Mhm.
And be careful out there, right? There's a lot the extent of frauds and scams is exponentially high as technology increases and as our eyes are diverted, our brain, we're being diverted by so many craziness that it's easy to
Mhm.
fall into a
Exactly.
very obvious fraudulent situation. So if you want to know if it's fraudulent, reach out to us, ask us, we'll go figure it out for you, and we'll report back to you because that'd be fun. Yeah, I don't want
That
you. I
would We're
don't.
like FBI
Yeah,
investigators.
I could
I like
be.
it.
I could be. I could
I
be.
could
Oh
have
man,
been.
if I brought my friend Brooke in, she
Listen,
is. She's an
I
English
always
professor, so she has
Mhm.
access to, like, all of those databases that, like, journalists have access to. So when we're
Okay.
trying to get some information, Brooke is who I go to.
I also have become very close, friends with the law director of my city,
I've heard
and,
of that.
a, what's he called? A lawyer prosecutor, that's the one. I have some other things, but no, I've always said I could have been an FBI investigator, but
Yeah,
again, I
I
was
like
too
it.
lazy. So
I
I
like
just
it.
find things
Same,
behind the scenes.
same,
Mhm.
same,
Yeah.
same.
Okay.
All
All
right,
right.
Kristen, what are we gonna talk about next week?
I have no idea. We haven't discussed that.
I am just so that the audience knows, I'm lobbying to break down the McBee family
Oh, yeah. Oh,
dynamics.
yeah.
That's a reality show, the McBee dynasty. Oof. There's so much craziness going on there.
We know Adrienne
Papa
is the
McBee.
queen.
Yeah.
Adrienne is the queen of reality TV, and she has sucked me in, but I had tried
Mm.
to send her this link about it, or maybe I did, I don't remember. But there's a whole nother Real Housewives scandal going on with another couple that's, like, in prison now. Like, we
Oh,
got a
yeah,
lot.
oh, yeah, they're from the Real Housewives of Potomac, and they, that was an insurance fraud scheme.
There's so much good
Yeah.
stuff out there. So
Yeah,
we're
I'm
gonna
ready.
talk
So
about some fun stuff next week.
indeed, indeed. I might have put Kristen on the spot during this just so that she'll let me do my McBee episode next week.
She totally did. She totally did, because she wanted to do that this week, and I was like, "I need to watch it," and then so now I guess I'm watching an entire reality TV show.
Yeah, yeah,
I could do that.
alright. Alright,
All
there
right.
you go. All you need to
All
do is
right.
watch the first couple episodes of the first season to get a general understanding of where this crazy
This
train's
is why
going.
it also ties in, they're farmers.
Oh, girl, it's gonna be a good one. No, I
All
have
right.
fun talking reality shows. This is
I
so much
know.
fun. Alright,
You've brought this out in me. All
I
right,
have.
so we will be back next week.
Next week.
All right.
Bye, my friend.
Thanks for hanging out with us today on High Heels and Hay Bales. If you laughed, learned something, or just had a good time, hit that follow button wherever you listen.
Want more? Head over to highheelsandhaybales.com to catch past episodes, send us a message, or drop your topic ideas.
And of course, we're on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Come say hi, share your stories, and join the conversation.
Until next time, stay grounded, stay laughing, and stay out of trouble. Well, mostly.
See you next week.